Hello, everyone. So I think we're going to get started now. I'm Tiffany, and I'm the founder of the club Positivity for Patients. And today is our first interest meeting, so let's start this. Okay. I want to introduce our sponsor, Miss McCord, and I want to give her a big thank you for sponsoring this club, or else it would have never happened. And I just wanted her to also give a little background on why she also loves making cards. And we also have Haley, who's going to talk next, and she is my vice president, or she's just helping me out with everything. She's my partner basically, and we're just gonna let them introduce themselves. So, Miss McCord, if you want to go first. No problem. Thank you, Miss McCord. Haley, do you want to go next? Okay, thank you, Miss McCord and Haley. Thank you to everyone who came today and for showing up. Um, we're just going to get started. So, this is our first interest meeting, and as you can see on the Pear Deck, our club is just like Miss McCord said. She kind of gave a little intro, and you probably already saw based on everything that we put around. But basically, our goal is to make cards and just create really creative cards and uplifting cards to help cancer patients and uplift them and help them get through their difficult times, not just physically but emotionally. Just to know that there are people behind them supporting them, and just to brighten up their day a little bit. And here we have our table of contents. So we are going to post this slideshow on Google Classroom, and everyone who signed up with the Google form should have already gotten an invite to the Google Classroom right after school. If you didn't join yet, that's totally okay. We're going to have a couple minutes in the middle of the presentation or at the end of the meeting to join all the channels and everything like that. But after we post this, all of these have links to the slides. So if you get confused or you miss some information, you just click on these links over here, and they're also on the side, and it'll take you to the slide that previews basically everything that we do. So as you can see, this is the order of what we're going to go through. And let's just get started. So I already told you guys who we are basically. Positivity for Patients is an extended organization. Haley and I did not create this organization by all means, but we are just an extended club, and we're just bringing the organization's goals and the organization's message and just spreading it to Oakton. So we just decided to start a chapter here and just spread the message. And so far, Haley and I have not reached out yet to any cancer centers near us, but we are planning on doing that soon. And for the time being, if you didn't want to join the club, we would be sending the cards to cancer centers in Canada, since this is where the organization began. It started around this year, and it's completely student run. So every single person who made the website and everything like that, they are all students and our age. And basically, our goal is to build a positive environment for cancer patients all around, and We just want to make them feel better and know that we're here for them and that they can persevere through their difficult times. And I kind of already said this already as well, so we just make cards and we want to make them as creative and colorful as possible just so that they have a little happiness and, have something to lift up their day. And here's some card guidelines. So as you can see on the right, it says the do's of the cards and the don'ts of the cards. So there are a couple requirements just so that we make sure all the cards are apt to send out. So we want you to include your own personal message. It has to be at least 3 sentences. It can include quotes or anything personal like that. You don't have to write full paragraphs. But we just don't want you to write only one sentence and stuff because we want it to be more sentimental and personal to the person that they're sending it to. And we just want you to have like a general greeting, like we don't want to address any specific type of person. Like we don't want you to accidentally assume someone's gender or age or the type of cancer that they have. We just want this to be able to be very general so that we can send this to anyone with cancer. And we want these to be as colorful and creative as possible. You don't have to have amazing artistic abilities to make these cards at all. We just want you to put your effort into it, and the effort is everything that counts. So you can also sign off with your first name. We don't want you to put your first and last name because we just want a little bit of privacy. So you can sign off with your first name, or you can just leave it anonymous and say from your friend, something like that. And so far, we are going to send all the cards to this address, and it is in Canada. And we'll talk about how you can send your cards and everything and how you'll submit your cards in a couple minutes. And the don'ts of the cards, so basically you don't want to, like I said, address any specific individual, and you don't want to make religious references, and I don't think that'll be a problem because holiday season's over, so there isn't many situations where you would make religious references to anything, but that's just one of the guidelines we have. And we also don't want you to submit cards with the exact same message word for word because that kind of takes away from the sentimentality of the actual card. We just don't want them to seem ingenuine, and it doesn't have to be completely different messages on every card, but we just don't want every single one to be a carbon copy of each other. Okay? And these are some examples of some cards that people have submitted, and you can do whatever style you want. You can write whatever you want. You have the freedom to write whatever messages you desire. And there are tons of things on Pinterest and websites online if you're unsure of what to say to this type of situation. You feel like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing. There are some articles online, and we can post those as well, that tell you what you should say and what you shouldn't say to someone going through cancer. And these are just some examples with a couple sentences. As you can see, it's decorated and just has some little drawings, and that's all we're asking for. And as you can see on the bottom, there is a link if you guys wanted to browse that later. It's just a link to show you like a couple of cards that to inspire you if you didn't have any ideas or you were a little bit lost on what to do if you decide to join our club. Okay, and for service hours, so every 2 cards that you make, all of them are physical cards. It will be counted as 1 volunteer hour. Because we are not actually counting the amount of minutes that you're taking to make each card, we're assuming that you are putting a good amount of effort into each card that you make and, trying your best and just trying to make it look as great as you can make it. Just put yourself in their position and think, if I received a card from someone, what would I want it to say? What would I want it to look like? And that could help you out a lot. But due to this, you can only make only earn a maximum of 5 hours a month, which is 10 cards. And by all means, you can make as many as you'd like if that's something you enjoy. And this is just about helping out people. But you can always make more and submit them and send them off. But you just won't earn service hours for if you make more than 10 cards. And every single month, so how you're going to submit your service hours and your cards is you are going to fill out a certain Google form. And I believe on the Pear Deck, if you click on the words that say this Google form, it'll take you to the February one, which we will be posting on Google Classroom as well. So each month we'll post a different Google form which you'll submit your cards in, and you will submit within pairs of cards. So since every 2 cards is 1 hour, we don't want to make it all messy with 30 minutes and 1 hour and 30 minutes and stuff like that. So every 2 cards you make, you can submit it, or at the end of the month you can just submit 10 or 5, or 6, how many you've made, and that'll count as your hours. And you do have to upload pictures of your cards, the front of the card and the inside message, just so that we know what the cards look like and if we can give you your hours. If the guidelines previously on the slides are not followed, unfortunately we can't give you the hours, so we don't want to make anyone redo their cards or spend extra time doing it. So the guidelines are just there to help you and make sure that you're on track. And yeah, so every single month there will be one Google form, like I just said, and it'll be due on the last date of the month at like 12 a.m., 11:59 p.m. So you have the entire month to complete your cards. And I know that everyone in Fairfax County, Oakton too, submits volunteer hours into X2Vol, and we have taken that into consideration, of course. But because every time you enter service hours into X2Vol, it does email us every single time. So what we want you to do is, when you do enter your hours, submit it for every single month. So at the end of the month, if you made 2 cards or you've earned 1 hour, or if you made 10 cards and you earned 5 hours, put all of that there on the last day of the month so that our email doesn't get flooded with emails every single day of the month. And after we go over your Google form and make sure that all the cards are following the guidelines, we will approve your hours through the main email, which is on the left over here. So it says positivity4patients, oakton@gmail.com, and we'll try our best to approve all of them as soon as you send them. But if they are sent throughout the entire month scattered, it'll be harder for us to keep track. And for the service hours as well, when you submit the cards, submit it for how many you made and like how many you didn't submit yet, if that makes sense. So if you did 2 cards in the beginning of the month and you already submitted those, and you made 2 more and you're submitting another Google form, don't write that you did 4, write that you did 2. So every time that you submitted a new Google form, it's the new ones that you've made that you haven't already submitted. We'll keep track of everyone's hours, and it'll send you an email every time you submit it, so you can also keep track of those Google forms and know how many you've made each month. Because you are just uploading it and not actually sending it with the Google Forms, you will have to personally send it with stamps. But my suggestion is put all the cards that you made within a month into one envelope, send it to the address, and they'll distribute it to the center, just so you don't waste money or postage or anything like that. And after Haley and I reach out to cancer centers near us, it'll be a lot easier to either drop off cards or just it'll be less of a distance. And we do have a couple of club rules just to keep everything intact, and this will be on the club sign-up form, which we will provide at the end of the presentation. So you have to attend at least one of the 2 meetings per month. So we understand that a lot of people have extracurriculars or things right after school, and they can't always make 30 to 45-minute meetings. But just to be an active club member and to say that you've been in this club, we do want you to at least have some participation and not just for the volunteer hours. So there will be bi-monthly meetings. So on Tuesday, 3:30, right after school, just like today, every other Tuesday, so twice a month. And you just have to attend one of these, and we will be keeping track of who's coming. So if you do not attend, we will know. And also, if you do have something very urgent, like something you can't get out of or something that was planned a long time ago and you can't come, just please email us ahead of time, a couple days or a day before. A day before is preferred, just so that we know you're not coming and we can make an exception for you. And you do have to at least submit 2 cards per month just to remain a volunteer. To just stay in the club. So the bare minimum is attend 1 meeting a month and submit 2 cards a month. And we will have attendance forms for every session. And for today, you don't have to fill out anything, since none of you guys are officially part of the club yet, so you don't have any commitment to stay. But every single meeting we'll have an attendance forms, just so we can keep track of who's coming and have you remain in the club. And you just have to follow the guidelines, or else you won't get hours for your cards, and those are all the rules for our club. And here are all the links. So if you scan any of these QR codes, it'll automatically take you to join Google Classroom and Remind. So everyone here, yes, it will be recorded. I'm recording it right now, so we will be posting this recording on Google Classroom along with these slides. And there's a link on the Pear Deck for the Google Classroom, but everyone should have gotten an invite who signed up with a Google form. If you didn't sign up with a Google form, you can just scan this, enter the code, or click the link on the Pear Deck. And the Remind code as well, we're just going to be posting reminders like, hey, your cards are due then, like the day before and the day of, just so you don't forget. And oh, our meeting is starting now. Here's the link. And this is the Google Meet link we'll be using every single time. And just like this meeting, I'll be inviting you to this event on Google Calendar. So if you are coming, just say yes. If you're not, just say no, just so we know who's coming. And we'll email you every single time, just a little bit ahead of time, just so you get the link. Because I know it's hard to keep track of everything virtually because there's so many links, so many places to enter. I know because obviously I'm an Nookton student as well. So we're just trying to make this as easy as possible. And Haley just put those links in the chat as well if you want to take a look. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to join the Google Classroom and the Remind channel, and then we'll just continue talking about everything. So I'll give you like 3 or 4 minutes.